Why are we not for Spotlight? Hold on. Spotlight, add Spotlight. There we go. Helps to hit the right button. This is the Get Your Stuff Together Summit. Everything's going to go wrong and we're going to have fun with it. Our first speaker is Ilana Lopari, and she is going to be teaching us about the 7 foundational pillars to building a purpose-driven company, which foundation seems like a good thing to start with. So I think I put you in the right spot on the schedule. So Ilana, take it away. Tell us all about it.
Thank you so much, Michael. Yes, stemming from our breakout rooms talking about branding, I would like to share with the audience today some of the dots that maybe I have connected in my journey or through the work that I do on a day-to-day basis for a lot of my clients, because the confusion is real, right? There's so many ways to grow a legacy company. There's so many ways to grow a business. But what's most important is that we grow the business that actually means something to us, and the work that we do fulfills us and it fills us up, rather than being consumed by all the different ways to be able to grow a business. So in today's talk, I want to have the audience walk away with 3 of the main topics to be able to implement and walk away with some quick wins in really connecting those dots between their branding, marketing, sales systems, and team. The second piece is how to align their purpose with profit. And then the third piece is how to expand their impact and vision to be able to do more good in the world. That was my story, corporate dropout. I seen a corporate culture turn very profit driven. Everyone was seen as a number. So I realized very early on that in order to be able to create a safe environment, a productive, healthy environment with the companies that we are building, it's important that we turn into purpose. We understand why we do the work we do and how that actually connects to the bigger vision and mission of the service and the impact that we want to create in the world. And that's how I can start with the branding piece, right? For me, branding is always about how are you positioning yourself to add value in the marketplace so that you start to get known for that one thing that you feel the most called to be able to serve people with. That's kind of how I would define branding without going into the different ways that we can brand ourselves in the marketplace because of the time of my talk today. But that's how I would define it. Branding is always about the bigger thing that we offer, which is our products or our services. It's always about that bigger mission, those values that you are so clear on. And if you're not clear on those values, I always say that's homework number 1, to get clarity on what are those personal values that are important to you, especially if you're in the service space. We all are service providers in a way or another, I believe, in this room. A lot of the times the branding starts with our personal brand, because people will build know, like, and trust with us as we move through the journey of entrepreneurship for a solopreneur, entrepreneur, and CEO stage and level. So all those different phases claim that we build trust with our audience and we have clarity on those values, because just like we were talking about in the breakout room with my beautiful connections there, it's always about you having that clarity on what you stand for, and you will start to attract the people that resonate with the way you speak, the way you share things, the way that you add value, your values, what's important to you, and what is that bigger impact that you want to create in the world. And I've seen this firsthand with my work, that once you're so clear on the purpose, then the profit side is always a byproduct. So that would be the first. The second one is marketing. If I were to define marketing with all the confusing, or I guess blissful ways, I mean, it depends how you look at it. For me, it's a blessing to be able to reach and use all these channels to be able to reach the people that we get to serve. So I just look at marketing very simply in that outlet. Where are the people that we want to serve, and how can we go reach them, get in front of them, and add value and build trust? Because just like we talked about also in the breakout room, it's so funny how a lot of this is connecting. It's always about the relationships, right? We're in the business of people. There's always people behind companies. There's always people behind teams. There's always people behind our clients. There's always people behind our families, our friends, and all the things that we care about. So really, if I were to define marketing in a nutshell, it's always about how can I utilize and have that clarity on what are the right channels that I need to utilize to be able to reach the people that I want to serve, and how can I utilize those channels to add value and serve without asking for anything, right? How can we add value? How can we be people of value? So that's what I would define marketing as. And then the other aspect is the sales. And sales is really that finalization between after you've added value and you have built trust. then how can we continue start the journey? That's where the actual work of the transformation works, right? When we have that sales conversation, which is always so natural when you have built trust, because it's just you have the context, right? People already know, like, and trust you. So it's just a matter of listening to the pain point and the problem the other person has in front of you, and then attentively listening for your solution, or the way that your solution might be a great fit for them. And of course, we need to be able to have this final conversation so that the journey, the customer journey, can begin with the next journey of from client to being able to becoming a loyal fan for our company, right? Because again, if we focus on the service and the result and the transformations, then we're going to build another beautiful community of people that we have served. And then we get to develop a client journey where they can stay with us, we can keep serving them at the highest level, they can introduce us to other people, they can be great brand ambassadors for us, and that's where everything begins. So everything is always a continuation. In the longer term of just my experience as an entrepreneur, besides the 15 years that I worked for the corporation I did in a regional director role, was always about long-term relationships. So we can't look at people like numbers. We can't look at people like leads. I mean, I don't always agree with the, business terminology of marketing. I love, Michael, that you shared that niching is a marketing, terminology. If we just unravel a lot of these different words, I don't like to be called a lead. I like to be called a human, a connection, that somebody knows me and they are adding value to me. So that's kind of how I see business, in a very holistic approach. And at the end of the day, if you're just always focusing on the service aspect, then you will know intuitively what is the right way to add value to someone on the other side, whether it's a virtual connection or it's a live interaction, and you are following and nurturing those relationships. So really, building a brand is always about nurturing relationships in the long term, being in this in the long term. That's why I say, let's connect this back to the purpose part, because if you believe in this, and if this is your life's mission, if this is your vocation, if this is your life's calling, then you doing this and creating the impact that you desire, despite the challenges that will come through your journey, because obviously you have to grow through and evolve in your level of leadership in your business. Those will become easy, because your mission will wake you up every morning, and despite challenges and despite bad days, or despite days where you might experience burnout, despite days when you lose focus on your purpose, that's all going to happen. We're all human. Just like anything, if you're in something for the long term, you'll experience all those challenges along the way, but they will all become lessons if you know how to turn those into lessons. And you just become more intentional over time, and you work smart and not hard. And that's another very important piece that I think is the right message for a lot of entrepreneurs, especially solopreneurs, because we have limited time and resources. And unless you have the knowledge, skills, and also all those bigger dots connected in the business, then you're not going to know what activity to focus on that's going to give you two most important ROIs, which is always your brand building activity and also your cash flow activity. All of those have to always align. Otherwise, you might be working on the wrong activities in your business. So going back to that, that's the sales. And then the other two pillars that I work on is the systems and team. This is what's needed to scale. I mean, you have to grow beyond yourself. You have to buy back a lot of your time. You have to start, investing in systems, which a lot of systems you can invest on day one, which is your contact list, for example, right? So there are systems that you can invest with right away at the beginning, but then as you grow, you always want to create those SOPs, right? Standard operating procedures for things that you are repeating on repeat. Pay attention to your tasks. If something is repeating and you already have the bigger picture of what you need to work on as the founder of your company, then pay attention to those repeating tasks, and then that's how you identify whether those are tasks that you want to continue doing because you love doing them, or you want to delegate them out. And you're always doing a process of selection as you keep growing. So then you start adding your first couple of hires in your team. Now there's always, confusion around, well, who should be my first hires, right? As you create cash flow, you want to pay yourself first. That's always number one. Just like self-love, you can't love other people unless you love yourself. You have to meet your needs first in the business with your company, and then you can take some of that money and reinvest that back in the team. I would say your first hire should always be an admin of some sort, right? So that can free up a lot of those tasks that you're doing so that you can focus more on the high level activities in your business, and also the high level relationship building, right? The high level visibility that we're doing here, going and sharing your message with other audiences. All of these are the ways that you scale and create impact. So I would say an admin would be the first hire. The second hire would be someone in your marketing and sales, because again, just like anything, you want to be able to connect with enough people that know, like, and trust you, and have almost like an ongoing process happening in the business, so that you can then take people through the nurture or the customer journey until they become your clients, and then there's a client journey after they are your actual clients. So that's what I would say, with the systems and the team piece. And then when I work with bigger corporations, it's always about the operations. How do we get more productive? How do we ensure that a lot of these processes and SOPs can be smooth-lined, streamlined? Maybe we're doing busy work. Maybe we're doing work that no longer aligns with the direction of where we're heading, right? And all these operations, almost like a home. When you clean up the home, you want to have everything is structured, right? It's organized. You have your bedrooms, and you go in the bedroom to sleep, and you have your bathroom, and you have your kitchen, right? A business is the same. It has its departments, and everything eventually, once the business, gets to the a bigger level and it scales, then you want to look for more organization, organizing the right people where they need to be, ensuring all your departments are in the right place, and then everything is working in harmony for the vision and the mission of the company. So that's in a nutshell how I would connect all these different pieces that sometimes we kind of just hear in different spaces, so that you have that bigger vision for the bird's eye view, so to speak. Because I've always been a big believer that as founders and CEOs, we need to have the bigger picture figured out and have that clarity, because then we can make the right decision for us. It's going to focus our purpose and our profit. Because unless we have all this information, then how do we know who to hire? How do we know what coach to invest in? How do we know what program we need to be part of? How do we know what book to read? How do we know what mastermind I should join? Because you don't have these pieces in place. That's how you make effective decisions that are going to give you the highest ROI. Because the biggest pain point in this industry now, because we have reached the level of maturity, is, I'm not saying that maybe a lot of the investments that you've made in the business, it's because of the other side over promising and under delivering. But it could also be that we're not ready to make that certain investment, and we didn't always get the highest ROI from that investment, even though I don't think anything is ever wasted in life. The knowledge, expertise you gain, the learning you gain, you can always back it up and use it again. But I feel that if you have this clarity, then you'll know exactly what is the right community to join, what is the right mastermind to join, what is the right mentor I should align with, what is the right next decision in my business is going to move me forward towards the vision and mission that I have. So it all's supposed to work in a very harmonious way, and all these different pieces that seem scattered and seem so overwhelming, they all streamline with that vision, mission, and values that you have, and that clarity keeps you working smart, gives you the freedom you're looking for. So your business is not a job, and then you're always thinking ahead, how do I grow an asset that tomorrow I can sell? You want to work backwards. I know that you're not thinking to sell the baby now, because it's almost like we're all parents, right? And we believe our companies are our babies, and we put so much energy into it, and so much ROI, just like parenting for those of you that have kids. But you want to build a business like an asset without you as the primary person that services and does all the aspects of the business, because then you've just created a job. You want to build an asset, and then tomorrow when you have an asset, when your life vision changes, or you have clarity on what your next phase and stage really calls for you and to do and to how to spend your time, then you have created an amazing asset which you can hand over to someone. You can leave it as a legacy for your family, depending on what everybody's circumstances are. But you want to think like that when you build a business, so that you can start removing yourself from a lot of day-to-day activities. And I really feel, especially in the online space, if people have this information, they want to grow a business that's very independent, and they want to build an asset. Sometimes I feel like in the online space, solopreneurs stay solopreneurs forever because of the fear, or maybe even lack of knowledge on how to actually grow a very healthy company that also supports their personal life. Because it's always the fear of the pressure, right? Oh, if the company gets too big, I'm not gonna have time. I don't know if I'm a good leader. I don't know if I can do a lot of these different things. But all of this comes just like anything. It's all skills that we gain over time. And I haven't seen anyone in my personal life or my career at this point that hasn't learned the skills that they apply every day. We all are very capable as humans to learn any skill: leadership, mindset, right? Technology, all the skills that we need to be able to make the right decisions for our companies, we can learn. And once we get to the level that we have generated enough cash flow, we can hire smart people that are gifted. That's the power of leadership. Collaborate, get the right people that are gifted in different areas like you. That is how you build a really fulfilling company. I think that's the new definition of success, for at least for most heart-driven or purpose-driven entrepreneurs. You want to build something that is fulfilling, and you go at it every day, and you're happy about, you know, the impact you're making. And of course your profit is also there, so that doing more good in the world maybe for you could mean philanthropy. I meet so many people in my community that are heart-driven into certain social causes. Your business can feed a lot of that as well, right? So that's why it's important to be able to align our business models also with the impact that we want to create, because money at the end of the day is just a tool, and we have to be clear and strategic so that we're always aligning those two things, so we can stay profitable and we can take that tool and we can put it into good use. So it's kind of all I had today. Thank you so much, Michael. I hope I stayed within my allotted time space. If there's any questions.
You did, yes. Thank you.